Good evening. We're going to go through Psalm 91, and I hope that God will use this to encourage you tonight. I apologize in advance that this video is a little bit late, but nevertheless, it's not too late. I hope you're still awake, and let's go through together with verse number 9 and 10. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. We have here a reiteration of verses 1 and 2, really. And the psalmist says, because you have made the Lord your habitation, there will no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh unto thee. And that's the same thing that is promised in verses 1 and 2. The person that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And they have protection, and God is their refuge. And so tonight, I really just want to hone in on these two verses. Charles Haddon Spurgeon moved to London, England, in I think it was 1854, to be the pastor of what would become the Metropolitan Tabernacle. When he was first there, within I think the first 4 years of his ministering there, in his early 20s, London fell victim to cholera. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Jenny will tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but cholera. And it was a plague, a deadly plague that kept people from even wanting to leave their home. And people were dying, and it was a very fearful time for many people. And Spurgeon was wondering what should he do to minister. He was young, and he felt the Lord leading him to go and visit as many dying people as he possibly could and try to be with them in their last moments. And he said it was an amazing thing that people who were once cold to the gospel, who never wanted to be a Christian at all, in the face of death, were much more open. And he says of his own words, many people received Christ during that time. But I just want to say about these two verses, he gives a testimony that during that time, when he was going and visiting all those people, he fell very personally ill, not physically ill in the sense that he had caught the disease, but he was emotionally drained. He was physically drained. There were bad things happening all around him, and he didn't know if he could continue to go on. And he happened to stop right beside of a shop that was still open. And the shopkeeper had posted something up in the window. At first, he thought it was an advertisement, but when he got closer, he noticed what the word said, and it was Psalm 91, verses 9 and 10. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall plague come nigh thy dwelling. And Spurgeon gave testimony that was the very thing that he needed to continue going. And God gave him a renewed faith and strength. Why? Because he knew that God was with him. Can I tell you tonight what the greatest cure to everything that's going on in the world today? It's not that the doctors or the researchers find out what the right medicine is to help us during this time. The greatest cure is for you and I to dwell with God on a continual basis. Make God your habitation. Be as familiar with the Lord and open with the Lord as you would with anybody in your own home. There's no fakeness in your home. You're familiar with it. It's the place where you run when you need refuge. And that's what the psalmist said here, that no evil will come to you, no evil will befall you, because you've made the Lord your habitation. And we make so many other things our habitation. When things scare us, when we're afraid, we run to so many different people. Teenagers, when I'm working with teenagers, they put in their earbuds or they go to some form of media because they just want to drone out from the world. But I want to encourage you. The greatest cure tonight for what we're going through is abiding with God. Take time to have fellowship with Him and to pray and to seek His face. It doesn't mean that nothing bad will ever happen to you. It means that He takes the sting away. Satan, if you ever want to see about a righteous man, Job was a very righteous man. God used them in a mighty way. And yet many awful things happened to Job. But yet in all of those things, Job stayed faithful to God. And that's what we find here in this psalm. Satan will do all kinds of things to discourage you, but God will protect you from turning in your mind and your heart even to have sinful thoughts against him. And that's what it means here. That no evil shall befall thee. Satan cannot have the victory. Why? Because those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High, who trust in the Almighty God, know this, that everything works together for His good. That God can take even the worst situation that we're in right now and use it for His good. No evil shall befall thee, as you and me, make God our habitation. Instead of running to everybody else today, let's run to the Lord and seek Him. I'm praying for you. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow morning. God bless.